What's going on, everybody? It's Childish back at it again, coming at you with another Soul Strike video. And in today's video, we're going to give you guys something special here. We're going to talk to you about how I went about climbing 1,000 Conqueror levels in literally 1 week. So in today's video, we're going to give you guys all the tips and tricks that I learned along the way to accelerate my progression. And if you have found any of these tips that you're going to be listening to in this video useful, do me a favor and show your support, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the notification bell so you guys know when the next video drops here. Now, a couple of disclaimers here that I want to point out. First of which is that the range that I climbed, 1,000 rank, was about level 800 to about level 1800. Yes, I'm sitting here at 2040, but I want to remind you guys, because again, I feel like these tips are going to be like beginner to intermediate. This is not like a 1,000 Conqueror level climb from 3,000 to 4,000. 4,000 to 5,000, whatever the case may be. This is for some of the people out there that have jumped into Conqueror stages, that's kind of been using their best stuff. Now they're going to start mini-maxing, choosing specific things about their team, their ally, their composition, and they're going to really utilize it and the Conqueror maps to their advantage here. So again, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is the passive stats. I think that's something that we keep on getting constantly reminded in these beginner guides, but we don't really sometimes see the kind of impact that it provides. So the big thing about it is it's going to be when we talk about all the different types of equipment that we could have, right? All the types of, skills, allies, the relics and whatnot. One of the things that I did that I was not doing prior to was that I made sure that, when I get some new skills, when I get some new allies and whatnot, I start to bring them up in levels of 10 and try to get, I've been trying to get them out like upwards of like level 30. And then for specific, skills that I had a little bit extra that I was looking to try a little bit, mess around with, I brought them up to 50. But ultimately, when it comes to skills, allies, relics, or whatnot, even though it may not be something that you're going to utilize all too much, you still want to go ahead and take advantage of leveling up a little bit. Like I said, bring it up to 30 first, then 40 first, and 50 first, whatever the case may be. However you want to go about it is going to be up to you. But ultimately, it comes down to the unique effects. The unique effects is those added passive stats that we're talking about here. Again, they come from the skills, they come from the allies, they come from the relics. They literally come from all the things that are available in this game. And you want to make sure you're jumping on that, because again, if you guys really didn't know the true value of all these things that can be had when you actually bring them up here, you'd be surprised as to how many thousands, tens of thousands of percentages that you can increase in your stats overall to really make a jump on this. Now, next thing I'm going to move on to that I really thought was a good improvement here was getting into the class and getting that first Mystic Champion. Okay, so this is one of those things out there that takes a little bit of time, but to my surprise, I thought it was just one of those things out there you just got to get lucky on some of them. But the hunting commission is something that they teach. I don't know if it was Guide Mission 700 or Conquer Level 700, but it was somewhere in there. They kind of remind you about it, and then you're like, oh, okay, sounds good. I'll go ahead and do this, get some hearts and stuff, whatever. But the one thing I didn't pay attention to is the heart exchange on the top left corner of that far left box here. The heart exchange has a little bit of a shop here that can use those hearts to go ahead and get yourself a wide variety of things. Some of the things are going to be end game stuff here. However, the Mystic Champion, this is literally the one skill out there that you can get a copy of just by doing the hunting commission. So if you're one of those people out there that have been doing it and haven't purchased anything, or haven't been doing it and now, or you are motivated to do it because you don't have the Mystic Champion copy, then definitely get it. While obviously I'm going to need 4 more copies to get that triple S copy of my first class. Still, the value of having this one, again, kind of talking about that previous topic here, the new raw stats, the new unique skills, the passive stats here, it's going to be really worth it for you if you haven't jumped on it already here. Now, next thing I want to talk about is probably one of the things that I feel like is absolutely meta, but I've seen a lot of new people in the game right now, coming in for the collab. So I want to put it out there again for those of you guys that are not too sure, is going to be your team builds. Okay, so when you're coming up in the game, just going through the normal and the hard stages, you're literally using your, your best units, your best skills. You're like, oh, this is mythical, this is legendary, let me go and throw it in. You're not really paying attention to what they actually do, how these skills, kind of synergize with one another. And now it's time to do that. So you're going to want to go over to your forum page, right? Go into your skills and look at your specific skill book and loadout here. So this is actually the build that I use quite a bit during the climb. Physical build kind of seems to be that neutral build again. And this is one of the ones that kind of, reminds me of what I'm talking about here. So when it comes to that particular topic at hand, right? The skill loadout and utilizing specific skills with their mechanics, and having other skills or abilities take advantage of that. This is what I'm talking about, right? We got our 2 buffs that are providing Goddess a blessing, right? The overload here to provide us a little bit of attack. But the thing that I got right here is going to be Guardian. Guardian is going to be the initial skill that I utilize to provide a specific mechanic to amplify the damage that I bring in, right? So as you guys can see right here, we got an ability that's going to be doing a little bit of damage over time, but ultimately it brings in the bleed effect that's going to, like I said, be the foundation of the loadout that I'm going to be utilizing in order to climb, right? So my two next skills are going to be Infinite Magic Bullets, and it's going to be Radiant Judgment. Infinite Magic Bullets, one of those skills out there that doesn't really make sense when it comes to overall farming, because it just shoots random enemies, but when you go up against a boss, all the bullets basically go on the enemy, providing a ton of damage here. It also provides a little bit of max HP, which is obviously very important in order to keep on casting your skills. But one of the things that some people don't realize is that, hey, it provides the 30% additional damage to bleeding enemies. So again, it makes sense for me to start out with my skills to provide buffs, provide the Guardian that provides that debuff, that bleed that I'm looking for, and then utilize a skill like this to provide even that much more damage. And if that wasn't enough, one of the strongest skills in the game, in my humble opinion, Radiant Judgment, also similar to Infinite Magic Bullets, provides that crazy amount of damage in the area. And then again, even though it's kind of split up here, when you're utilizing it for a boss, all the damage is going to be going on to the boss. And then in addition to that, you also have the 100% additional damage towards bleeding enemies. So again, you can see right here why this can be outrageously strong. And then again, if you're fortunate enough to get it to a higher level, you can see the value of a skill like this that has that initial high damage, but also that reduction of the cooldown in order for you to cycle it more and then do work here. So again, that's just kind of a quick example of what I'm talking about here, making sure that you are creating your build, whether it's a mono element team or mono element skills, the skill loadout and whatnot, making sure you got that all in line so that you can just kind of get a little bit more value of the skills that you have, and that you'll see like a vast improvement of just the overall stuff that you do, not just for the climbing or whatnot here, but also just every single other aspect of the game. It'll just all make sense here. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is going to be the Conquer Mech and taking advantage, like elemental advantage towards it. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about taking a look at the actual map that we start out, right? What you can see right now, there's just like a mixture of different elements and whatnot, right? We got a couple of physicals with the wind, we got a physical earth wind, right? This is just kind of a balanced one in the middle. Again, this is like the generic start, but what some people don't forget, or as they're climbing around or moving around here, is that they're like, oh, wait a minute, the desert area, it looks like it's going to be strong to, or you got earth all over here, so fire's going to be stronger towards that. If you look up top here, you see a lot of water-based units in the ice ages here, so wind's going to be strong against that, right? So after you build that mono element team, or mono elemental skill loadout, you need to consider the area that you are looking to climb up in there. You might have this really amazing like earth comp or fire comp or whatnot, but if you decide to go in a place where the units are relatively strong against it, then it's not going to provide so much value for you. So it's not just important just to create the mono element builds, but also consider where you are at in the connected world. Where are you at in the area that has, specific type of element, more not. Of course, you're going to have a couple of stages here and there that's going to be a little bit of a mix, but ultimately you can take full advantage of the map regardless of what you're, looking to do, just so you can overall climb, push through the content, and then start opening up a couple of things. Because again, if you guys don't remember, as you open up the Conquer levels, we're going to have quite a bit of improvement on our stats here, if I can find it, right? So if I go to the upgrade, and we go to training, right? I think it's like at the 1200 mark and at the 1800 mark, we got a couple of things to open up. At the 1200 mark, we got all the different boosts out there that you can be working on. And then 1800 mark, I believe we got some more percentage-based stats here that you can be working on. So again, as you climb up, you'll be coming back here to improve those stats overall. But like I said, the key component here is to obviously build that initial team and find out the area that you can get the most value out of it. Of course, if you need a specific map on the hunting commission or whatever the case may be, then yeah, sure, you can go back there and knock it out. But ultimately, yeah, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that in the area. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to mention it one more time. You're going to hit a lot of plateaus here. And there's a lot of things that you can do to go ahead and, try to make adjustments here. So some people were just like, once they get hard stuck and they're like, they, click it, overall multiple times, they're like, you know what, Childish, I don't know what's going on, man. I just can't break through. I don't know what I'm doing. And then I asked them, like, have you, after playing at the Conqueror level for a while now, you probably have a good chunk of gear that you've been saving, potential like triple S gear or just overall gear that has, 2 to 3 good stats you're looking for, but haven't really messed around with it because you like this other weapon or other, back or other accessory. I'm like, have you taken a look at not just gear swaps, but ally swaps? Have you taken a look at some of the things that you have available right now in the game and see if you can get yourself like a little bit of added value, right? Messing around with different allies that provide specific added bonuses at this stage of the game. You can do some swaps. You might find that certain ones work better than others. They may not be mythical. They may not be legendary. They might be a epic one that you have like A8 or A7 or whatever, and you might find yourself that, hey, that is actually working a little bit better for you. So just kind of keep an open mind when you're trying to make those changes, and always remember a couple of things. Always remember a couple of things. Make sure that you always got the food running, right? And make sure that you have your ability set on the right one here, okay? So sometimes we do the farming and we click on the wrong one for farming. We come back into the game, but we start farming. We wonder why in the world are we not even getting remotely close? Like, did you forget to go back to your regular build that has the one that you're looking for, right? The one that for the overall damage here. So that's going to be a big thing. And again, last thing to mention was, like I said, that overall balance of the teams. As you guys saw, again, we kind of lost a little bit of damage here. Or sorry, we lost a couple of allies throughout the process. We went with a whole, what's it called? We had we basically built an aggressive comp, which is what everybody recommends initially. But then now realizing how hard these units hit, how much damage they could do, you're like, oh wow, you know what? I actually got to mix it up now and figure out either a skill or ally that provides a little bit of balance, a little bit of sustain. So for me personally, I've been utilizing the Force of Mother Nature here. This is one of the skills out there that you see a lot of people use over time. Again, does damage over time, but also heals over time. So if you're one of those people out there that doesn't have a really strong class in that element, that could be something that you can kind of throw in there and just take advantage of it, especially if you're one of those people out there that don't really do a mono element build when it comes to your allies. Maybe you don't go allies, maybe you go Tyrant Sheath. A skill like this can provide you that little bit of healing that you're looking for. So, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much going to be it for the video. Again, this is how I gained 1,000 levels in about a week. Again, this is something that I did last week prior to going out to my trip, but finally getting back around so I can do this video for you and try to provide you some insight. And remember, guys, a lot of these tips that you heard in this video is just something that you probably already know about, but sometimes it's not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. What you need to hear is you need to do a little bit more testing. You need to try new builds. Once you get specific skills, allies, relics, or pets, you need to take a look at what you got now in your monster box and see, is that can I do this build? Can I try this one? See, just try different things, mix it up, and then see if you can progress. And if you do, with the unique build, especially with the mono element side, take advantage of the area of the Conqueror map that you can get that most elemental advantage, that most efficacy and whatnot. Try that out, see if it makes any difference, and I promise you, you will see yourself start to climb at the end of the day, okay? So that's going to be it for the video, fam. Thank you guys so much for your support. As always, fam, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys all in the next one. Take care.